Wednesday, August 21, 1850, the New York Daily Tribune. Greenpoint. This town, adjoining Williamsburg on the north, bids fair in a short time to be one of the most thriving, as well as one of the most beautiful places in the vicinity. A portion of the high hill which rises abruptly from the shore, and is so conspicuous from the New York side, has already been cut down, and about 20 additional acres made from it, although the water was very deep to a bulkhead erected some hundreds of feet out. The ground thus leveled and made will be occupied as shipyards and foundries, Mr. Cunningham of the West Point Foundry intending to occupy 2 blocks for the latter purpose. The remainder of the hill, including the turnpike, will soon be cut down, when one of the finest towns, with its churches, etc., will be opened to the view. A ferry will be established in a short time, when the docking shall have been completed. The north part of the town contains much high ground, which has recently been cut down, and the streets regulated and graded, leaving many a house much higher from the street than had originally been contemplated. The earth has been used to fill up to a bulkhead erected a long distance out, and 50 acres, probably, additional, will be made from it. A pier and dock of very great extent, and an immense enclosure for the storage of coal has been erected on a part of it by a coal company, being a branch of the Delaware and Hudson Company. On another portion, we understand, is to be erected a sawmill of great extent, and various other establishments. As the August 1850 Greenpoint article explains, the north part of the town contains much high ground, which has recently been cut down. An 1849 Brooklyn Evening Star article explains how and why. Messrs. Williams, Sneeden, and Cunningham are building a dock 1,800 feet long and filling in behind it from the hill south of Greenpoint, which will be, it is expected, all transported to low grounds. In other words, the Greenpoint Hills were dumped into Newtown Creek. As Greenpoint historian William Feltner wrote, Greenpoint used to have high sandy headlands, remnants of the early glacial period, similar to those still remaining along the north shore of Long Island. The changes to the hills on the Queens side of the creek were noted in an article by 19th century Queens resident John Bragaw. In the progress of city improvements, the steam plow has made sad havoc with these farms, having lowered the grade of portions of them from 30 to 40 feet. Newtown Creek was called by the Maspeth Indians Maspatchis Creek, meaning bad water, according to Algonquin scholar Evan Pritchard, who explains that they lived along the salt waters of Flushing Bay, where LaGuardia Airport now stands, and along Maspatchis Creek. But, writes Pritchard, the Indians called the territory of the greater part of the town, that is, the eastern portion, Wandawanak, meaning the fine land between the long streams, meaning between Flushing and Newtown Creeks, those places of bad water. Before the hills were scraped into the creek, the Point was a popular destination for Manhattan dwellers looking for a country visit, as explained in a 1930 article from the Brooklyn Daily Eagle about Greenpoint's first ferryboat service from Mr. Rowlands. The Point, through the enterprise of Mr. Rowlands, became a popular day resort for picnickers from the east side of New York. As a matter of fact, on warm Sundays in the summer, the crowds were so large that the catboats could not carry them all, and Commodore Rowlands was obliged to charter a steam ferry boat to bring the tired city dwellers across the river to wander at will and pick wild flowers on the hills and in the dales that led back from the Point toward the almost unknown stretches of Long Island. Even earlier, the Eagle's Long Island history tells us what preceded the Europeans. Indian footpaths connected the shores of the East River and Jamaica Bay. They followed the line of least resistance through the flats or level lands, which had been cornfields of the Indians for many years, and these flats the white men were eager to possess. Along one trail, settlements were established, which were known as Het Veer or the Ferry, Brooklyn, Bedford, Middlewood, and New Amersfoort. Along another trail, the Bushwick and Het Kruisbad settlements came into existence. In 1850, the New York Tribune continues the explanation of why Greenpoint's hills are no more. The river has been encroached upon for a distance of several hundred feet, and a long pier has been extended in a sort of semicircular form, leaving a shallow basin of water between it and the shore, which is being rapidly filled up. The earth used for this purpose is obtained from large hills on the shore, which are being leveled for this purpose. A rail track has been laid along the entire length of the pier to convey the dirt cars to the place required, and 60 to 100 laborers are constantly employed. The quantity of earth required to fill up this vast space is enormous. The amount already used for the purpose exceeds 300,000 square yards, and probably 100,000 more will be required before the work is completed. The adjacent hills must eventually all come down.